This is a crystal radio of the family that they used to call rocket radios, and they're inductively tuned. You just would move a shaft in and out of it. It has the standard crystal earphone. It has a ground wire, and one of the differences is I have added an antenna wire for better reception. The original radios had a special coil inside, which is no longer available, and it acted as the antenna also, but frankly it was rather weak. So that's pretty much it. So let's go build this thing. Let's look at our parts list. We'll start over here with the antenna, and we'll have antenna, and on this side we'll have the ground wire. So I got about 1 meter of that, a little less than a yard if you want to call it that. And then we have our inductor. So over here we have our core, and we have wire to wind our core, and it's 0.55 millimeters, 24 AWG. We have 2 pieces of ferrite core because I can't find one that's exactly what I need. But what I'm going to do is take 2 pieces, and of course I'll put all the specs in the description. And I'll take 2 pieces of that, and I've already super glued them together. And then what will happen is we have to have our rod like this, and I have not finalized this part, but I'm going to glue it in there like that, and that's how we will move the inductor in and out of the coil. What is next? Moving on around, we have our earphone, which is down here, our resistor that goes across the earphone, and our magical crystal diode here. The other parts are things like the clips, which finally came. If you've watched my other videos, I've been waiting almost 2 months for these. And then we will have our 3D printed shell, our core, our top of our shell. So this is the bottom of the shell. The white ring is also printed separately. It holds the 2 pieces in alignment. And then I got these springs there for fishing, and they're actually just a decorative item. They don't do anything, but they were on the original satellite radio. And yeah, these kind of surprised me, but they're very cheap and relatively easy to find. I've used spring fish hooks when I was fishing, but I'd never seen anything like this, so I guess this is something relatively new. So we've covered all of our parts, and now we will start putting it together. The first thing I recommend doing is winding the core so that the windings on the coil can dry, because we're going to stabilize them with white glue and thread. And yeah, it's better. And this is the thing that takes the longest to assemble. So we're going to use our wire that we showed in the materials section, and we're going to wind it. The trick here is that the bottom part of the form fits into this part of the bottom section of the ball, and that stabilizes that end so it holds it in place. So you do not want our coil going down in there, so you need to mark the core right there. And on the upper end, you want to make sure that when the ferrite is in there, that the coil begins below where the ferrite is when it's at the top. So let's look at a result. There it is. So I've left this part unwound, and the part on top, as you can see, the ferrite can cleanly extract all the way out of the coil. In an ideal world, when the ferrite is inside the coil, it should be the same length as the windings. And yeah, I've not quite gotten that down yet, but yeah, something to work on. And I want 85 to 100 turns. Now what I've found is at 85 turns, the volume may be a little softer. At 100 turns, I'm starting to get a little reverb, echo, whatever you want to call it. So somewhere in that range, 85 to 100, maybe 90 something turns seems to be the sweet spot. We want to wind our coil using a scatter winding, and I'm not going to go over this in detail because I've done it like in 5 other videos. So we start at one end where we've marked it, and we stabilize that with some thread and white glue, and then we make a turn about every half a centimeter at about 10 to 20 degrees to the core. like that. We reach this end, and it's better if you do the first layer, you stabilize it, put some thread and white glue on it before you go on, let it dry. Because if you get the foundation down, the rest of it goes much easier, trust me. Then you start back in the opposite direction, 10 to 20 degrees, and you lay the wire in between the existing wrappings. You reach this end and you just keep going back and forth until you get your 85 to 100 turns. Finalize it with some thread and white glue, and then I cover the whole thing with white glue and just set it aside, let it dry. Okay, on to the next step. Now let's compare the construction against our circuit diagram, make sure we have this right. This white wire right there is the antenna. It comes in here and it attaches to one side of the coil, which we don't have there yet. I will show that here in a second. So the other side, it comes down here to the diode, which is right there. The diode comes around down here, and diode attaches to one side of the resistor, which is right there, and one side of the earphone, which is this gray wire right there. So these two gray wires are the earphone. Goes through the resistor, attaches to the other side of the earphone right there, comes up here, attaches to the other side of the coil, which we'll do in a second, and then the black wire here is the ground wire. So we have our circuit correct, and what's going to happen is I am going to mount this on here with the typical thread and white glue to give it some strain relief, because these are weak components and they can be easily broken by the wires twisting around. And what else do we need to talk about? Yeah, the springs I have mounted in here, and I just use small screws, ran it through the bottom of here, and then use some epoxy on there to hold them in place permanently. And I think that's it. So my next step is to mount these on here and solder the coil in place. So one lead will go up here at the top of this diode, and the other will go to the top of the resistor. There's a little better view of it. So one will be here and one will be there, and then again we will attach it to the coil core right there. So I need to go do that. Here we are back again. I have attached one side of the coil to the top of the diode, and I got that covered with electrical tape because I did not leave myself enough of the lead of the coil to come down here and come back a little bit so I could slip the shrink wrap over it. Yeah, okay, and this side did better. The other side of the coil comes up here, goes and attaches, it's soldered in here, and then I put shrink wrap over all of it. And then I tied it to the coil body using thread. I didn't put any glue on here in case I want to come back and undo that, but I gave it several wraps of thread to hold it in place. Now, the last thing we need to do is this ferrite, and I am still struggling. I want to put the rod in here. Ideally, I would like to have it so I could unscrew it, and yeah, that would be my first choice. I want to put a ball on it and all that kind of stuff. Not sure that's going to happen. I'm still thinking that one, but when I get it figured out, I will come back and we will see what happens. Let's talk about how we do the ferrite. And as I think I mentioned earlier, there's two pieces to this ferrite because I couldn't get just one piece that exactly fit inside of the core. And so what I did is, you can see there's a longer and a shorter one. And what I did is I aligned those by using a rolled up piece of paper, and then I just put some super glue around there and let it harden. Then I got some quick drying epoxy and I filled about the lower centimeter of the bigger section down here. So it's like that, and I filled about halfway along that bigger section. And then I quickly put a piece of tape over the end of it and punctured it with a needle in the center. And I did the same on this end, punctured it with a needle in the center, and then I carefully fed the rod down through there until it came out. There's a small hole in the bottom of the lower section, so there's no problem if it protrudes a little bit, if this rod protrudes. it'll just it'll just exit out of the hole. And now what I need to do is remove the tape and cut the rod to length because it's really long. And then we will assemble it for the final time and we will go test it. And here we go with the final assembly. I have found that it's easier just to start by feeding this piece through here and then just poke them together. I've still got a little bit of tape or glue or something right here, but I found that it adds a nice amount of friction. So yeah, and then we will just push the two halves together and they are a snug fit. And now we are ready to take it over and attach it to the antenna and ground and the scope and see what it'll do for us. So this is our usual setup. I have the antenna hooked to the antenna, the ground hooked to the ground. I've got the oscilloscope ground connected to the antenna ground and the oscilloscope probe connected to one of the loose wires in here, one of the open wires I should say in here. And I will be listening on the earphone because if I play somebody else's content, YouTube takes down my video and nobody gets to see it. Okay, so let's begin. Right now you can see there's a woman talking right there, and we will slowly push this in here. Actually, there's some music right there, but I can barely hear it. That's a guy talking. There's some bleed over from the first one. There's a different station. Guy talking. Oh, that's better. Same station. Yeah, so I'm getting the best station here is the low end. Something about fried chicken and KFC. No, we're not sponsored. Yeah, so we're getting 3 stations, very solid stations. And so, yeah, again, it's not a contest rig, but it's something if you're collecting memorabilia from the 1950s, 60s, this is something to have. Okay, well, I hope you found that useful and interesting in your home crystal radio experimentations.